Good evening and good evening and welcome to Let's Hear My School. This is the fourth edition that we are organizing from Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, headquarters at Himalaya. As a discipline, as a normal practice, we have our Swamiji Brahmachari Maheshwara Chaitanyaji, who will initially light the lamp and shower his blessings across all of us. And we'll also request our chief guest. We have Shantha Maria James here, whom we will introduce later. So both of them are on the screen now. And my name is Mehul Krish. Right, I'm the chairman CCD for Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham. And a small introduction before we start lighting of the lamp about Maheshwara Chaitanyaji or Swamiji. So he's the chairman admissions for the Amrita School of Engineering. So people who wish to join BTech, you have to go through him. He's also a commerce graduate, and later on he did his master's in computer applications, and he has had about more than 15 years of teaching experience in computer science. That's his domain, which he's specialized in. But his passion and the most liked field is on programming, and he's the regional director for the world famous International Colleges for Programming competition. And in fact, he was awarded the Best Leadership Award for his association with ICPC for more than a decade. So congratulations to Swamiji for your achievement as the best leader in bringing a lot of Indians and especially bringing up Amrita students to take part in this college's international competition on programming. Well done, Swamiji, and we are indeed pleased to have you here this evening for Let's Hear My School. And before we start this session, before we go on the live talk with our chief guest, I would request Swamiji to light the lamp. Over to you, Swamiji. Let's have the lighting of the lamp. Loka Samasta Sugino Bhavantu, let the entire globe be happy and healthy. We wish, and we have the blessings of our Chancellor, world spiritual leader, renowned spiritual leader, Mata Madandamai, and Amma continues to be the Chancellor of our university. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Swamiji, for blessing us. And we would like to talk something about our university. We have all streams of education except School of Law. So name anything we have. School of Arts and Science, School of Engineering, School of Medicine, School of Pharmacy, School of Ayurveda, School of Education for that matter, Dentistry, Medicine. So you name anything we have except School of Law. So God willingly, in the next few years, we also have the School of Law. So we are in full as per the education stream is concerned. That's number one. Number two, we have been in the 125th rank in Times Higher Education ranking, Asian ranking system. We are the 125th rank holder across the Asian countries in our global map. Secondly, about a couple of weeks back, we were also been the fourth best university as far as NIRF ranking is concerned, and this is a great achievement. In fact, it is our pleasure to thank everyone who made this possible, being the fourth best university in India. Thanks to all of you, our well-wishers, students, alumni, faculty, management, and all of us, that we are indeed honored to be in the fourth rank in our country, India. So thank you so much for that. Let's talk on. We have a special guest here today with us, Dr.Shantha Maria James, and I mean, with a lot of energy and a lot of smile on her. I don't know how to start, but then I certainly would like to start this session with a a personal question as to what really triggered you, Shantha, to be a teacher. That's number one. There's somewhere, maybe in the school, maybe in the college, something would have triggered you to become a teacher, because teaching is a noble profession. It was, it is, and it will continue to be the noble profession across the international arena. And when did you really think that you must become a teacher? And how did you go about becoming a teacher? Where was your first? What was your experience the first day when you went to the school to teach? And then what was your journey from then till now? And of course, she is currently the principal of Indian Central School at Kuwait, and she's been there in Kuwait for the last 15 years. She has done a wonderful job in bringing up the school to this level. Congratulations for that. And on to you, Dr. Shantha Maria James. What triggered you? What was your journey? And how did you all feel the first day experience as a teacher? Because we have many of them, especially almost about 50 or 60 of them are from your school who have registered for this particular evening. And what was your first day experience when you stepped into the classroom to teach the first set of those students, maybe 25 or 30 or 35 years back? Over to you, Shantha.
Thank you, Krish. Well, before I tell how my journey had gone to be as a teacher, let me give my namaskarams, let me give my sasriyakal, my good evenings to everybody here. Swamiji, Mr. Krish, and all my teachers, my parents, if any, and my students who are viewing, and all the other teachers out there and people over there. Before I begin, I would like to just tell you that I'm here right now because of this COVID-19. If not for that, I would not be on the screen right away. And this COVID-19, this long journey that we had, the roller coaster journey that everybody have felt throughout the world, has brought in a lot of changes throughout the world. And educational institutions were the one which were locked down first. And a paradigm shift is happening in learning process. We need to gear up, be ready to face it. And that is what I think all the teachers throughout the world are doing. Now, coming over to my career, I would always say, never stop dreaming big. Not just never stop dreaming, never stop dreaming big. But work for it and do not be complacent. That would be my adding remark to that. So as Krish said, the passion for teaching. Well, let me tell you, me becoming a teacher was an accident, not by choice. Well, I used to take my daughter in Hyderabad to her school when she joined LKG. And the priest over there, it was a Catholic school. The teachers, there were two of them in the kindergarten who went for maternity leave. And he told me, Shantha, why don't you come and volunteer as a teacher in the LKG classes? And that was where I just jumped into the opportunity and I went in. That was it. But after 1 month of maternity leave, they returned back. And the father did not want to leave me. He said, why don't you continue being a teacher over here? And by that time, in that 1 month, I really got passionate about teaching. And then there was no turning back. I always, people, those who have listened to my talk would have heard this, what I'm going to say right now. I always compared my career to the Indian wedding. Ask me how. Krish, ask me how. Okay.
Yeah, how? Sorry. How?
Yeah. Yes. You know, in India, generally not now, the previous generation, before 20 years, before 30 years, it was always our parents who used to, get a spouse for us and say, get married. And we never, many of them haven't even seen the spouses, the would-bes. And we got married. And then after you start living, you start loving them so much. My case of career is the same. It was an accident. It was not by choice. I became a teacher, but then I started loving my profession so much that there was no turning back. Right from kindergarten to grade 12, I have taught all classes. I have taught B.Ed colleges where they used to come in for camping, scouting, and all that. I have been in different heterogeneous classrooms, multicultural classrooms, and I love being a teacher. That is what I would say the journey was of my teacher. There's no turning back at all. I have no regrets that it came by an accident. I thank God, and that was what was destined for me.
So sometimes accidents pave way for people, right? it was a really fruitful accident for you, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So then, which day was your first day when you entered? That was LKG or UKG?
No, I started as a LKG teacher. Let me tell you, I never had any teacher training. It was St. Mary's High School in
Which year
Hyderabad.
was this, Shantha?
This was in 1987.
87. Okay, that you were in Hyderabad.
Yes.
Okay. From there, where did you move on to? From Hyderabad to?
From Hyderabad, then we move on to Chennai, then we move on to Dindigul, and then I had some opportunities. Well, I was a Rotary Scholar, so I had the opportunity in 2020 to, 2000, to go to USA, California, a complete sponsored program. I can never forget that award that I got. And I was there for 3 months in USA, visiting right from preschool to a B.Ed college and learning their system, sharing our system with them. That was a turning point in my life.
Shantha, I was just going through your profile. It needs a long time for me to really read it out. But then, instead of reading out the entire profile of yours, I felt, one or two points which I want to discuss with you is, it's a wow factor for me now. It's a wow factor. I'm sure in your life, 2012 would have been one of the best years for you, right? You know the reason for it. But
I got it.
Shantha, in fact, in anybody's life, somebody announces you that, calls you up and says, Shantha, you have received the biggest of the biggest award, the President's Best Teacher Award in the year 2012. And I've seen in Facebook your photograph receiving the medal from His Excellency Pranab Mukherjee, who was then the President of our country. What was your feel then when it was announced that you have been awarded the President's Best Teacher Award? And when you walked into Rashtrapati Bhavan, receiving that award, what was your feel? And what would you say to the teachers who are listening to you? Why not you when I can, isn't it? Why not you when I can? When I can get the President's Award, why don't you also try to be one of those President's Awardee? What is the advice you can give to our teachers who are listening to you?
That's a wonderful question that you've asked me, and I really like to answer this. First thing I will say, one needs to believe in oneself. Have belief in you. Be confident in who you are. Prove it through hard work and perseverance. Regularly, you need to evaluate yourself. See, when somebody receives an achievement and they are at a plateau, see, that is not the end. It keeps on moving. You reach one plateau. From that plateau, you go on to the next higher plateau. And that is how you move in life from success to success. Well, when you see them receiving an award, you don't know what they have undergone. I would like to tell the teachers that the road to achievement is paved with losses, challenges, mishaps, lot of mistakes, learning from your own mistakes, but it still can lead you to where you want to go as long as you don't lose sight of your ultimate destination. This is very important. You need to be focused. You need to be consistent. You need to work again and again. In one overnight, you cannot, go and reach a particular pinnacle that you have looked at. You will reach a plateau where you will have so much of confusions. You'll have so much of problems. You'll have so much of challenges. You don't withdraw. You see where it is. You sit and work on it and then move from there to the next higher plateau. And there again, you rest to reflect and see where you are, how you need to move further. And that is how you move from one success to the other, from one plateau to the other until you reach your goal, the ultimate destination. One thing also, I believe, don't run behind success. To me, you just do your work. Success will follow you. It will run behind you. Krish, I can't hear you.
Yeah, Shantha, what Shantha says is don't chase success and the success will follow you. And success never comes through easy way. I think you need to focus on to it. You need to work on it to you. Even if you fail, doesn't matter. Keep trying and trying and trying. For me, success, is from going from one failure to the another failure to another failure to another failure, and finally you see the plateau of success. So well said, Shantha, and congratulations from all of us for this lovely honor of getting the Best Teacher President's Award in the year 2012. Now we have Swamiji. We have Swamiji who's going to shoot some questions. Maybe it's actually the entire session is being inaugurated by him. He leads the talk, but before he leads, I thought I'll ask you some questions. Now we are clear how great you are, Shantha. Salute to you for that. Kudos to you for your achievements. Over to you, Swamiji.
Humble and small. No greatness here. Humble and always. Humble always.
Yeah, you are totally humble, Shantha. The great people, they are more humble than people like me. Over to you, Swamiji, for the first question. Please go ahead.
Okay. In fact, thank you, ma'am, for a wonderful introduction, first of all. Secondly, I may have to change my question because you have already answered the question, because your smile and the way you present, that itself will certainly give the confidence to the teachers, especially in this pandemic situation. And I certainly believe that, because we have seen a lot of teachers, but yours is something special, because sitting here in India, that too in this situation, managing the entire school abroad, that is very what you say, it is a difficult task or challenging task. And with the smiling face, you are handling all this, and you are talking in a so jovial way. So how do you find the integration of technology? Because now we see that technology has become a part and parcel of the life. And you as the director, you are expected to talk to the parents, talk to teachers, talk to students, or from the different dimensions in the education sector. And you said that you already have, something like 5,000 students, starting from primary to +2. So what is it that motivates you? What is it that keeps you moving? And how do you find the technological integration in this specific situation where none of us were really equipped mentally?
Shantha, the question, Shantha, I'm sure you would understand the question. He wants you to tell about the sudden change from classroom to live streaming. Now the classes are taking place. The teacher sits at home, the students they sit at home, and the classes are going on stream. So how did that? Now you talk about Zoom, you talk about WebEx, we talk about Microsoft Teams. So all these changes have come in the past 3 or 4 months. We never heard about Zoom, we never heard about Teams, and last 3-4 months we have become experts now. I mean, isn't it? The sudden change of technology, how are you handling it with the parents, the teachers, the children, and the society around? Over to you, Shantha.
Well, thank you, Swamiji, and thank you, Krish, for explaining that. Well, first thing I would say, technology is a boon. We used to talk about this 10-15 years back. Technology is a boon. Whenever I went to some seminars, I used to get that. But then I really realized what it is right now. Sitting in India, I'm able to communicate with my teachers. I'm able to hold meetings with my teachers. I'm able to talk with my management. I'm able to talk with my business office. I'm able to talk with the HR. I'm able to talk with the finance guy. And we are able to sit at the convenience of our home and do. Let me tell you, this was a shock when, somewhere around end of February, we have this holidays in Kuwait, they're called Hala February. As soon as we were getting back to school by 1st of March, by 28th of February, Kuwait declared that the next 15 days is lockdown. And well, let me tell you, I was not at all in fact, many others also thought, okay, in 15 days, we are going to be back to school. That's all. We never realized that we are going to sit, now it's going to be nearly 4.5 to 5 months, going to sit at home. See, that's a total change. When we realize that after 15 days, we are not going to come back, and another month, after 1 month, another month. But then what are we going to do? What is going to happen to school? Schools were the first to be closed in Kuwait by end of February. And we also had the plan of opening up grade 10 and 12 current batch on 1st of March. How are we going to open when the schools are closed? And we were not prepared at all. Let me be very clear, we were not at all prepared. Teachers were not prepared. We didn't have a system. We didn't have a model that we could use. Hello, am I heard?
We are so much. We are so much engrossed in your talk, so that's why we are sitting silent.
No, actually, what happened was, I had it on my screen stating that the network is down.
No.
So,
No.
Okay. So, what we did is on March 3rd, I was in India. Okay, we said, let us come on Zoom. The only platform I knew at that time was Zoom. Let me be very clear. So I created an ID for me, and we came on the platform on Zoom with the higher class teachers. And we were actually talking and trying to find out how we can support our grade 10 and 12 students, how we can give them materials to study. Thanks to my management, let me tell you, they are very advanced in IT. And my chairman is always fond of the IT department and, improving technology, making things more comfortable through technology. So that really helped us. Before we got the MS Teams, we were using the Zoom, and we have this portal called WAM app, through which we were able to prepare the materials for grade 10 and 12. It was like, we had two things to look at. Like many schools were following the blended, like they follow the blended classroom, we had to choose between the synchronous and the asynchronous system. So we chose the asynchronous system, where we were sending materials to the kids of 10th and 12th, where they can sit and learn, like the heuristic model of teaching, learning in their own pace, at their own time, in the houses. And later, when we got this MS Teams from the management, thanks to them again for giving us that opportunity, we had a great challenge in front of us, because we did not know whether teachers are capable of handling online teaching. They were not trained. We don't know how to give the training. All this was the biggest challenge that we had. But then let me tell you, and hats off to my teachers and to the teachers throughout the world, I will say, who have raised up at this thing, and they have done phenomenally great training. They have not only that, but everyday classes were geared up. The PTMs went on, the one-to-one meetings went on, the orientations happened, and technology, as it was getting handy, and what I can say, and the teachers were getting used to it. What they did, they started being comfortable, and there was a genuine interest from their side to explore further in learning online. So now I will say this is what we are doing through so many webinars, going through free, programs on understanding IT and getting into various departments to really equip themselves further for the coming after post-COVID. And amazing technology. And this helped us so much to connect. Although I will say it will not replace, this can never replace a teacher. A technology definitely is important, but it cannot be a replacement to teachers. The emotional connect, the eye-to-eye contact, the bonding, this and all cannot, the intimacy between a teacher and the child, this cannot change the technology.
Absolutely, Shantha. I think you hit the nail exactly on top. So what I mean to say is that a teacher cannot be replaced. Even best of the best automation comes into the world. A teacher is a teacher is a teacher. I think, as you rightly said, the emotional touch, the classrooms management. So all those things cannot be replaced by the live streaming of classroom. So you agree with that, Swamiji, that because you are a techie personality, so over a period of time, will the robots replace teachers?
I don't think so. See, being a techie as well as a teacher, as ma'am rightly told, it is impossible for any machine or device to replace a teacher. Absolutely. And there is absolutely no replacement for teachers. Otherwise, we will have to call it as instructors, where there will be no kind of emotional connect.
Yes, agreed.
All right. So that's very correct and clear. Swamiji, you have to shoot one more, or should I wait for some more time for me to get on to you with the second question, or you want to add up?
You can take it forward now. I'll shoot.
Absolutely. Now you did mention, Shantha, about what did you really do with the management, with the converting your school into a techie school all of a sudden, and you did a wonderful job. The management helped you to get into MS team. So all these things are fine. But what do you think about the future? I mean, it could be okay. I'm not saying that you tell me when the corona will leave us, but what's going to be the future plans of your school? You would have had something in your mind, which I'm sure many of your teachers and other teachers who are attending to this webinar will be quite waiting to hear from you. What is the future and how we are going to take on to the future? Over to you, Shantha.
Well, thank you. The future, I think my management, the principal, the teachers, we all are set preparing for the future like any other school will want to do in the world. Okay, a system, I would say a system needs to be evolved where people realize that internet is an essential commodity hereafter, and like the basic needs, you know, like roti, kapra and makan.
Yes, yes,
Internet
absolutely.
is important. We need to recognize this concept that internet is important, because we are sitting at home. We have the makan, we have the roti, we have the kapra, but we are also having internet. Without internet, we are nowhere now. So this has to be realized. And one more thing, what I would say pressing is the schools are facing a lot of pressure. You know, there is definitely a decrease in revenue in every schools, right? I'm sure every principal or the school management will agree with me here. And there is certainly also an amount of investment and expenditure needed to gear up from the schools for the online learning environment, right? So it's not only the teachers who are under pressure, the management has pressure, the parents have pressure, the students have pressure. So amongst this pressure, how are we going to face the after COVID-19? Well, after COVID-19, I think the leader should play a lead role and showcase the importance of developing the students and making learning more beautiful and meaningful. And now I keep attending a lot of webinars, and I keep people right from CBSE and other people talking a lot about, you know, the blended learning style, the flipped learning style, and a heuristic learning style and everything. But when I look, I will say that everything is a part of blended learning. So the future is going to be blended learning, and that is the call of the hour, which comprises of, we can say, self-learning will be 25%, formal learning could be 25%, interactive learning of 25%, experiential learning of 25%. A holistic experience of blended learning will be this model. And then we need to really, leaders will really have to build the direction in life for students. And we need to build student competencies. There should be a clear vision for schools in the learning, teaching, learning between the teacher and the student learning, and how we are going to communicate with the parents now. Uh, we need to have a clear vision on that area. We need to have a clear vision on the assessment strategies that we have to look at. So we need to concentrate on the learning outcomes. So altogether, the pedagogy for every level needs to be planned very clearly with a team. No one person can do it. This actually needs to be done with the whole team, the whole school, and also not just the school, the neighborhood, the cohort, the, you know, the sahodaya, all need to sit and plan these areas.
Shanta, roti, kapada, makan, and jal. You know, jal is in Hindi what you call is net. So you have jal, the net available in the future, now in the future. But I'm a little worried about roti, kapada, and makan for our people, especially in India. You know, yeah. So you know the economy is going to get a shrinking situation in the next 1 or 2 years. People are facing it. People are losing jobs and facing a lot of difficulties for money, and there are people who have started starving. So the roti, kapada, and makan is a big question. The jal will be always there. This is what I feel. Now, Shanta, I want to ask you, with all this busy schedule, you have a lot of activities going around you, not now, the earlier times also, but you are so busy in doing a lot of community activities, service to the society. So I want you to throw some light on those community activities and how do you manage so many things under your one umbrella of Shantha Maria James. How do you get time from? Do you somehow pray to God and say, hey, give me plus 12 hours in a day, so give me 36 hours? I don't think that's happening. So how do you manage, or are you into a very high multi-skilling? Did you learn multi-skilling from some universities? If so, please share with me. But you have been managing all this for so long with a lot of activities in and around you. Over to you, Shanta, about your community activities.
That's really an interesting question, Krish. But when you post it, I'm just thinking how I managed it.
Yeah, that is what is, yeah.
How I managed it. Let me tell you, first thing is I love children and I love to be around people. I think that is one strong point that I can say was how I was able to manage. I always love to be with people, and that made me go and do some community service and and in so many areas. Like the one close to my heart is the special education area, which we are an inclusive school, and for the past say 10 to 12 years we are inclusive. And right now with we have also started a special area with the new management. The management has supported us in opening up a special education area itself from the last 1 year. So that was one area. Then I always worked, I think we did 11 years of breast cancer awareness campaign in the school year after year. And I also will say that we are proud to say that we have been doing it with not one or two children, with 5,000 kids in the school, inviting big doctors from India, where the local community supported us. Because I used to be a part of the community support. My school used to be a part of the community support. So we also got support from the community, got support from the embassy, got support from various organizations. And whenever there was a great personality coming into Kuwait, we utilized the opportunity to bring them to school, and they were able to give insight into those areas to the children. The next one is the organ donation campaign at Kuwait. Yes, I'm a part of it. Father Chiramal from Kerala was the one who came to Kuwait first, and they unanimously selected a few people to be a part of it. And I was glad to be nominated, and I participated along with them to support the organ donation campaigns. Well, there are so many other educational campaigns, educational areas that we keep giving support, and organization, cultural organization, and other things.
Yeah, it goes on.
Taking time. Well, taking time. That is what you were asking. Well, I think because I love to be with people, I think that's how I take time. It's not that I go back home at 2 o'clock after school, although it gets over by 2 and 3. I take myself to work a little more to complete the task, get connected with people, get connected with society, get connected with community, drive myself. And as I go home, I take those 2 hours with the kids, play with them, and watch some news if I want to. And then I'm out again by 7:30, hanging around, if nothing else, with my friend circle, communicating, understanding, knowing more. And that is how, wherever the opportunity is to do some service, we go. We go to hospitals to meet cancer patients and actually communicate with them, just talking, nothing more. Or, there's no money involved in this. You need to just give time. You give time to somebody. That is more valuable, I think. And that, I think everybody can do that. Everybody can do that.
Shantha, fantastic. Nice to listen to you more and more. We wish that we take on your community services around us and help the society to overcome a lot of hurdles, difficulties in their life. Thank you so much for explaining it so well, Shantha. I mean, as you rightly said, you like to get connected with people, and there's no doubt about it, because you and me are connected for some time, right? So that itself proves very well that you always love to be connected with people. So that part of it. You also mentioned about Kuwait, right? But in the recent times, I have read in newspapers, I've read it in, I've seen it in net, that your total population of Kuwait is around 4.8 million people, and 4.8, maybe I'm wrong in my thing, but 4.8 is what they mentioned, and about only 30% of Kuwaitis represent the country, and balance 70% is all expatriates. You have people from Egypt, you have people from Philippines, you have people from Pakistan, you have people from India, and as usual, India holds a little more, the highest expatriates community in Kuwait. And I think it should be around 1.3 or 1.4 million of people, of Indians in Kuwait. The recent news reading says that the Kuwait is coming out with a bill which is not passed, that they would like to reduce the expatriate community by about 40% instead of 70%. And if that happens by end of the year, we have close to about 800,000 Indians who will have to leave Kuwait. And it's a shocking news. 8 lakhs of people will suffer from this bill of Kuwait. What is your take on that, Shantha? Do you think this will happen? And if at all it happens, we have no other go but to shift to India, right? And what will they do now? Just your thought and a call on that particular question.
Well, my thought when I say, yes, what you heard, the news in India, because I have also seen the news, it's absolutely right. But let me tell the real ground over there. Actually, the bill has not been passed, and it will take time for it being to pass. And even if it gets passed, okay, we hope it doesn't get passed, but even if it gets passed, yeah, let me tell this information to the Indians in Kuwait. Please don't panic. Don't be afraid. Forget this, because to execute this, it will not happen overnight at all. It will take 10 to 12 years or 15 years for this to be completed. So you have a place in Kuwait. Kuwait has always been an amazing country. They always loved Indians especially. And we have a very good rapport. Both the countries have very good bilateral relationship. And definitely no one will be asked to get out of the country overnight. They are wonderful people. Kuwaitis are amazing and excellent people. And this will have its own pace. It will go at a very slow pace. Definitely if it is passed, not less than, not before 10 years. Things will start.
Okay.
Not to worry. Parents, don't worry. Students, don't panic. Teachers, don't panic. Kuwait is our home, our second home.
Shantha, I think you're very highly confident about things will happen in the next 10 to 15 years, and I hope it doesn't happen at all. And if it all happens, if at all, something like that happens, Shantha, we are here in India to welcome you all. We will certainly share our mind and our thoughts with them. So nothing to worry, those parents and children from India who are in Kuwait. And let me tell you that all of you are in the safer hands of Shantha Maria James. No doubt about it. Isn't it, Shantha? Do you agree that the level of confidence
Definitely,
that absolutely,
definitely.
absolutely.
Everybody are safe in the organization.
Absolutely.
We have a very good management who gives us full support, and not to worry about these kind of things at all.
Now, it's the time for Swamiji to shoot. Sometimes what happens, Shantha, he shoots, $1 trillion, $1, 1 million question to the guest speaker.
Okay.
So I don't know, it's going to be 1 million, 1 billion, 1 trillion, 1/4 trillion, but he's going to shoot one question now. Over to you, Swamiji, for your second question to Shantha Maria James.
So for the time being, I'll keep Kuwaiti dinar, and maybe we'll think of dollars next time.
All right.
So, ma'am, I was curious to understand, because we have been shifting from the normal kind of classroom session to the virtual classroom, and all the teachers, all the employees in any organization you take, we all are forced to work from home, forced to work using the laptop or mobile or whatever gadget it is. And especially, I'm 100% sure that being teachers, they'll find it very difficult to manage the work at home, working from home, and their own homework. So what is it that from your end, you are speaking so lovely, so how is it that you are managing the teachers? How do you motivate them to pass through this entire process? Do you have sessions with them, or weekly sessions, or monthly sessions, or anyway, one way or the other? How is it that you are coping up or making them cope up with the situation?
Thank you, Swamiji. See, I believe in being healthy both inside and out is important. See, I may project like being healthy right now here, but am I healthy from inside is very important. So how does this happen? Of course, everybody have their problems, but now with this change, this unprecedented changes that is happening, it has become very stressful for many, not only the teachers, the parents, the students, and the community at large. Everybody are stressed because we have not seen this kind of a situation at all. We are sitting in a house in lockdown. We can't even open the door and go out. So that is the situation, especially in Kuwait. So actually, our teachers have been sharing a lot. They are busy with the online classes, as we said. Coming to a school and doing a physical classroom is less challenging than online classroom. Let me be very frank. I'm sure the teachers will agree with me. When they came to the school, they had a specific time. They walked in at 7 o'clock. They walked out at 1:30. They took care of the household chores. They took care of the children. They took care of the children's studies. They took care of the spouses and whatever they had to attend to. But now, sitting at home, actually, we, the corporate people, we have actually got into the space in the privacy of the homes. say when, for example, I am going to my husband's office, I have to maintain the decorum. I cannot talk loudly. I have to wait outside to meet him. I have to write down that slip to say that I have come to meet him. And there's a protocol. But when the corporate has invaded our homes, what are we doing? We are in a lesson. We tell the babies, no, go. The child wants water. No, go to the kitchen and have. We show, and we have invaded their homes. But what is happening? They are adjusting with us, and everybody at home in the kitchen, the cooker can't make a noise. But you should understand, this is not your office, it is your home. So these things are very important. Let me tell you at one point, one of the Muscat principals shared with us last week. So it was a Malayalam class for them. The Malayalam teacher, the teacher was teaching Malayalam, and he wanted everybody to come on the video to show the faces and just say a hi, give a something. And this child, it was a 7th grade child. Didn't want to show herself at all. And then after a lot of coaxing, because the sir had asked to come out, she opened up her video, and what the teacher saw? She had her baby brother on her lap. She was taking care of the baby brother. She was studying. She was feeding the baby brother because mom and dad have gone to work. You see the stress level of the child. You see the commitment of the child. So this is what is happening. The same way our teachers, they are teaching. They have the small babies at home. The baby was sleeping, she started the class. This is for everybody throughout. And the baby woke up and is calling the attention of the teacher to just see her situation. Hats off. The teachers are the heroes of today with the online learning. I salute all the teachers in the world for their contribution to this emergency period of education.
I am with you, Shantha. We salute all the teachers who are going through this. I would say it is not that easy to teach from home. I mean, I am sure, your husband is close by, your mother-in-law is close by, father-in-law close by, children sleeping, waking up, asking for food, and she has to concentrate on teaching us. Otherwise, earlier by 9 or 8 she leaves, comes back by 5. She thinks home only, when she's back at home. But now she has to manage, she has to learn multi-skilling, How do you manage your family? How do you manage your children? How do you cook and how do you make it ready? So I think it's a hell lot of experience our teachers are going through, and as you rightly said, let's salute all the teachers who have been doing a wonderful job, and I'm sure this is certainly going to make a change in the future. Salute you all teachers for this excellent job what you're doing for the last 3.5 months. That doesn't mean that you weren't doing a good job prior to that. But under these limitations, you are doing extremely well. I stand and shake hands with you, Shantha, for these lovely words on our teachers. Over to you, Shantha. You want to say something?
Yeah, I want to add on over here. So how are we handling the teachers over here? There are so many. We have a counseling cell. We have like me, and there are vice principals. There are supervisors. So if anybody want to talk, they are always open to pick up the mobile and speak to us. I've had so many teachers who spoke to me. I've had students who spoke to me with the problems. It may look silly for me, but from their point, it is very, very, very important. The mental health being is very important right at this moment. We need to support them with these kind of things. And we spoke to them, we counseled them. Whenever there is a need, we talk to them, and we try to do our best by our words and the empathy that is required at that point.
Shantha, I think you have said it rightly, and we have quite a few questions. In fact, I have close to about 61 questions. I don't think I'll be able to run through that, but then, I would like to pick up a few of those questions and ask you for the answers. And I will start off with the first question. Is it good to have online classes for pre-primary sections? If yes, what time should be suitable for those little ones as they need their parents' support? So over to you, Shantha. Do you think that the small little kids should go into online classes? And if so, what timing and how long?
First thing is, I wouldn't encourage that at all. Why should a pre-primary school kid who is 2-year-old go for an online class? allow the child to enjoy life, because definitely when the child grows up, we'll have to get in online somewhere or the other. Okay, that's one thing. In case somebody wants to do an online class, the other day I was reading an article which said that the Nimans had given details that the attention span for a 3-year-old is not more than 15 minutes. So if you do an online class, it should not be more than 15 minutes for them, and it should be really so good and attractive, clownish, that the child does not want to move away from you, because the child gets so many other materials on net, in YouTube, in so many forms. They get better, colorful, animated things to watch. Why will they want to watch your face? Unless you are really making it so interesting. And definitely, I don't think the attention span will be more than 5 to 7 minutes.
Absolutely. I think that is a correct answer, and hope the doubt has been cleared by Shantha Maria James. And the second question is, if you are given a high position in the cabinet in the future, maybe the educational minister or something like that, you are given, would you change the B.Ed course curriculum of teaching, or you will continue with the current one? Will you change it? And if so, what are the changes you will make?
Yes, that is a very interesting question. I never thought about it at all. But now that whoever has asked it, what's the name of the person?
Oh, wow. Name, we'll have to check. Maybe I won't have the question.
Well,
now it is medical question. You said the question is good.
Okay,
so it's
wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you so much,
we definitely
Shantha.
need to change the future of bachelors in education. Because times are not the change as it was before. We were following a traditional methodology of teaching, and now we have to go to a blended learning where you have both a mix of the physical classroom and the online classroom. And then you have to change the curriculum where you talk a lot about the futuristic education patterns that is required. Psychology, mental well-being, these are all areas where you have to give a lot of emphasis. When you look at students in school, you really need to have a very good cell with behavioral psychologist over there, because there are so much of suicidal cases. Children have the suicidal tendencies in them, and they come sometimes, and when we identify them, then we really have to take immediate action to see that the student is monitored. These kind of things happening with the online, like things like Facebook, the Instagram. There's a lot of mental unhappiness going on with the children. And this thing called troll, if I'm right, it's called troll. You see the troll where somebody puts something against somebody else, and when the student looks at it, he or she feels very small. And these kind of things happen, the examination pressures, the peer pressures. And one little thing I see, I don't know whether it's there in India, in Kuwait, is the birthday bumps. Have you heard about it, Krish?
Yeah.
So all these are very stressful. Some of the children don't come to school on the birthday because of fear of facing the birthday bumps.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we need to look at the mental well-being of the students, and in the curriculum we have to bring a lot of teaching with technology for the teachers to face the future world and the changing time in education.
Wonderful, Shantha. The next question is like, how can one make the live online classes more interesting and interactive? You have one or two suggestions you can give to the teachers to make online classes more interesting and interactive. Over to you, Shantha.
Well, I think there are many ways one can make online classes interesting and interactive. The best person to make it interesting and interactive is only in the hands of that particular teacher. What I do in my classroom may not apply to the next classroom. So, okay, for example, I'm a teacher who is teaching English. Well, I may talk about current affairs. I may like to do some gimmicks in the class. I may like to talk and interact with the children one by one, or open up everybody and say a hi and show faces at the primary level, which may not be applicable to the next class, or what I do today will not apply to tomorrow in my class. So the teacher will have to understand the pulse of the class, the pulse of the students, the pulse of the present, and prepare the classes interactive and make it more interesting. The teacher is the only one who knows what the students are. As a principal or as Krish, we can only give them strategies, but the application is the teacher, only one teacher who can make it interesting, or whatever technology you apply, whatever strategy you apply, unless you are a part of them, you are involved with them, and you are one of them, it will not be successful.
Shantha, well said. And next question is on the co-curricular activities. Like you have music, you have arts and crafts, you have yoga, you have drama, dance. You know, due to shortage, positive time, all this may not happen. So, how do you manage this co-curricular activities? That's the question.
Okay.
The second question is, how can school balance between scholastic and co-scholastic subjects handled online within the time and frequency permitted? So how do you manage, we are going to skip CCAs and other things, and how do you manage the subjects on co-scholastic and scholastic online within the time and frequency? Over to you, Shantha.
Well, what we did previously, we didn't put these things inside, but we had a separate area. My management wanted that to be a part of it. We did webinars, weekly webinars for parents on Saturdays. We talked about various areas, how to handle the parents during COVID time, how to make families more interactive, and the bonding to be increased. So these kind of webinars we conducted. We had parents, teachers bringing in, the music teacher, the dance teacher, bringing in a lot of recorded work by our own students, and we made it a series, and we put kind of released it every week on the YouTube for parents to see, for students to see, their friends or their peers coming on the screen and performing themselves. So that way we engage them. Fitness is another, kids fitness is another area. We had 2 webinars on kids fitness for parents as well as students. And we also worked, there's a work going on where we are going to go online for the summer camp in physical, that is games summer camp that is going to happen very soon from the school. All the work is completed, and we are trying to give our best. But in the future, I think we need to see, we need to look at it, we need to research, and we need to find out how we can incorporate this also to the students, because it is very important. The physical fitness, the music, the dance, the dramatization, or whatever it is, very, very important for the students. If we are going to stay in the same situation for some more time, I think we have to start incorporating that also in our regular curriculum, at least once or twice in a week.
Thank you, Shantha. Thank you, Shantha. The next question is on, see, if you're in a classroom, we can watch the students and find out whether the student is really concentrating on what is being taught. But on an online class, one teacher is asking, how do I find out whether the student is really concentrating and learning? Is there any methodology to find out whether all my 40 or 30 students who are online classes are really concentrating in what I teach? Is there any way to find out that from your experience?
Well, thank you for this question. We have also faced this problem, but I will say that there is no clear-cut methodology or strategy that we can have to monitor every child. So this is a time, the changing time. Each and every child is becoming responsible. We have to give room for them to become more responsible. See, there are children who switch on, okay, we start a class at 9. They open up, they leave it open, and they may not be there. They go into the washroom, they go for taking water. That can happen. And when they are not seen, and the teacher sees that they're not seen, they can always say, I had technical glitches. So each and every child should be responsible for their act. Each and every child should know their the importance of studies. They have to, and the parents at home also should be giving them the full support. But what happens to places where the parents are going to work? So this is where we are giving the self-paced, self-learning area, and self-committed to yourself, to your group. That's what can happen. So I would say that there's no a particular strategy that we can keep monitoring. We are not policemen.
All right, Shantha, look, there's one more question. There are many more questions, but then the next question is on, like, you being the principal of the school and you may not be able to directly contact the teacher. I mean, parents may not directly contact the principal, but the parents tend to contact the class teachers,
Yes, yes.
And there are some teachers who are finding it extremely difficult to convince the parents on the online classes. All parents are not the same. There are many who appreciate, there are many who says, oh, these are all just humbug and eyewash. Under these circumstances, as a principal of the institution, how could a teacher convince the parent saying, look, there's nothing else that we can do? Or is there any way that you can convince the parent and so that the child is there on online classes? Over to you, Shantha.
Well, the question, I agree with you, but before I answer your question, I would like to tell you that first we are not sure what is the situation at every house. There are 3 children sometimes, there are 4 children, there are 2 children. Does the family have enough devices to engage all the 4 children on your online classes? We are giving the classes at the same time. So the parent has only 2 devices, but they have 4 children. So what will be their priority? They will definitely look at prioritizing the senior children for the classes, and they would allow the lower children to, relax. That could be the thing. What we did for this, we came up with a solution. We had the recorded work going on, and we gave it to the parents, and they could actually get into their own comfortable time, and at a later time, the other 2 children could see the recorded class and they could be benefited. This was one thing we saw. To your question, yes, once again here, I would like to salute my teachers for the hard effort they've taken in communicating to the parents. It was no easy task at all. Underline it. Every teacher had spent hours and hours together communicating with a parent, trying to convince them on so many areas, not just online classes, so many other areas that they had responsibility of, because we close the school before giving the results. So what happens? How are we to give the result? All the parents troubling, where is the result? So we had done all the it on the WAM application that we have, but then the clarification around with 5,000 children in the school, clarification. There they contact the class teacher. If they have another problem, they contact the class teacher. This is how things were going on. And we want to convey something. I just sent a circular as a principal, but phone calls are coming to the teachers. There has been challenging situations where teachers were not able to manage. We have a model where when the teachers find it difficult, the next higher authority is the supervisors. They pass it on to the supervisors. Further, if there is still a problem, it moves on to the vice principals. And the vice principals, maximum, they try to convince and finish. But however, I always ask people to shoot a mail to my office. And then in cases where definitely I have to intervene, I definitely intervene. And cases that we have to pass it on to our business office, to the management, we do that also. And cases where they need to attend, they definitely attend to it. And that is how we try to solve the issues.
Shantha, there's one more question which you're the cause for this question. You were just mentioning about the blended learning, which is going to be the impending future. And many of the teachers have now short questions on to you for elaborating what exactly you mean by blended learning. Over to you, Shantha.
Okay. Blended learning, as I said, will be the future. There are a lot of learnings that happens under blended learning. Like they talk about the flipped classroom, many would have heard, the heuristic classroom. All this is a part of blended learning. To just explain it easily in a layman's word, well, we are going for a party. We are going to a hotel where you're going to have dinner. And you have this buffet spread in front of you, 30, 40, 50 dishes. Blended learning is something like this. You have so many variety of learning models in front of you, different varieties of learning that you could actually pick out and give it to the students at different point to learn. For example, the flipped classroom is a blended learning. Studying from the textbook is also blended learning. Doing through art, right now the CBSE is actually working on cross-curriculum approach, interdisciplinary approach. They're also looking at art integrated. They're talking a lot about art integrated classroom, the value integrated classroom, the skill to be a base in the teaching learning style, the competency-based classroom and differentiated learning. To cater to all these areas, there are a lot of activities that you can make by yourself, which will be a part of blended learning. Let me tell you, this journey of doing the online training itself is like a project on design thinking. For every teacher, it is like a project on design thinking. Even I felt when I was working on this, I was doing a real project on design thinking, because you can be creative, you can be innovative. Anything that is creative, innovative, and is able to give the learning to the students becomes blended learning. Visits to a place is blended learning. Field
Wonderful.
trips are blended learning. So everything that you do is blended learning. It can be online, it can be offline. And the future is definitely going to be, the model would be like students will have physical classroom maybe for 2 days and online classes maybe for 3 days or 2 days, depending on each organization, how they look at it. But definitely blended learning is going to be the model for the future.
Shantha lovely said, and this is a question from one of the teachers from Mumbai. Mumbai, I'm very unfortunate, like, Maharashtra has the highest of COVID positive patients. The teacher is asking us whether, in case that we are able to make 2 shifts to follow the social distancing, will it really work? Instead of having all this, maybe 60 students in one class, make it 2 shifts so that morning 30 and afternoon 30. Is it going to really work?
I think that should work. Definitely it should work, and that is the way we have to move forward. Because let me tell you, even though the COVID-19 or the coronavirus has stopped, if you think or you say, if I am a parent having a LKG, UKG student, I will definitely not want to send my child to school within the next month, because they have to go by transport. What is the strategy you have adopted for the transport to have the social distancing? What is the strategy you have adopted in the school for social distancing? Although every school is equipping themselves, they are disinfecting themselves, bringing in a lot of, investing in a lot of gadgets to, kind of take care of this situation. When the child comes in, how can a teacher stop the children from holding hands? How can the teacher stop the children from getting into the toilet at one particular time? All this needs to be monitored. This is very good. You have half of them in one shift and the other half in the other shift, will definitely pave way for trust from the parent side also, because they know the children are limited and they will be able to take care of the social distancing. There will be more safety, and I think that's the best model that we could adopt, at least for the next few months, at least, or at least for this academic year till the end.
Okay, Shantha, that's a lovely answer from your side on to have 2 shifts for social distancing as far as the students are concerned. And I'm sorry for those teachers who I cannot accommodate many. There are many more questions which are coming in, but my final question to you, and then over to Swami to end this. Let's hear Myschool. My question to you is, you are also the divisional director for the Toastmasters. Am I right?
Yeah.
Toastmasters. Could you tell us what is this Toastmaster and how is it going to help all of us? Let's toast you with a master. Over to you, Shantha.
Thank you, Krish. Well, this Toastmaster is a wonderful platform for education. It is developing leadership and communication skills. Blindly, if I say, I will say only that, and interpersonal skills. I am in the Toastmasters for the past 3.5 years, and I enjoyed the journey thoroughly from where I was to where I am today. I have just completed in December my DTM, the highest education for distinguished Toastmaster, and I got qualified in that. In this journey, it's an experiential learning. Let me tell you, it's an experiential learning. I always believe that we shouldn't hesitate to make mistakes, in life, because a leader should be kind of what I can say, should not be afraid to be wrong, because nobody can be perfect all the time. Never be afraid of failing. I always, in the beginning itself, I said, unless you fail, you cannot learn from your mistakes. It's always good to accept and learn from small little setbacks that we have always, and to adjust the direction and know where the data are not matching, and slow down and fix ourselves and move ahead from there. That is how we learn. This is what Toastmasters is all about, Taking risk is also another thing. I always believe in one more thing also, get comfortable with the calculated risk. Risk is very interesting fact. And I think school leaders especially need to establish a culture in the school where taking calculated risk is acceptable. Things are not going to be perfect always. So things will go wrong. Embrace those missteps that's happening and use them to allow others to progress and allow yourself to progress.
Yes, Shantha. In my opinion, it is always better for the teachers and parents to make the students to commit mistakes. Because in our case, most of the teachers, they don't permit students to make mistakes. They correct them before the mistakes are done. So you learn from your mistakes, right? As you rightly said, and let's commit a lot of mistakes and learn from our mistakes. And before we wind, it's over to Swamiji. Over to you, Swamiji, for your final question to Shantha.
Ma'am has something to add on.
No, please, Swamiji, please go on.
Okay, so my question is like, what will be your opinion, or how will you look at the technology being integrated with the classes once the normalcy returns? And what will be your take on misuse of technology? How will you manage it with teachers and students?
Well, it's a very good question that each one of us will have to think about, because once the school opens in normalcy also, I am sure 100% the technology will be a part of us. We cannot do away with technology. Like right now, we cannot do away with teachers. We cannot do away with technology. In fact, as I told in the beginning, it is a boon. Everybody have learned to use the technology. All have become techno-savvy. Right now, the situation has been created, but everybody running to learn more on technology so that they are part of the team, the group, or whatever is required. So definitely technology will not go away. To answer your second question, well.
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah, well, I just need to recall the second question.
Recall the second question, Swamiji.
So it was about the technology safety, or how you ensure that the misuse of technology is not happening.
So one little thing we need to understand, we need to educate. That is the only way, because misuse of technology will happen behind your back. We can talk to the children, we can do things, not only the children, even the grown-ups for that matter. We need to know what is right and what is wrong. Our job will be only to educate them the right from the wrong, what they need to do, what they shouldn't do. And misusing is up to them. It all will talk upon the future. So education is a very, very important part over here. We have to give them a lot of, trainings, webinars, and we have to educate them on what could happen if they don't use technology in the right way. This is very important. And then with that, because we need to see that the way we look at school has changed. I won't say it's changing, no doubt, but has changed. And then the readiness to face challenges has strengthened now. In fact, everybody have become strong to face the challenges that is going to come. Now that in the past 4 months we have faced it, and I'm sure everybody I keep themselves to face, and they will not hesitate at all or have a question mark at all in the mind like they had before 3 months. They're all ready to embrace the changes or the transformation, I should say rather, which is coming. So we need to be lifelong learners. Yes, I am willing to be a lifelong learner, and I'm sure everybody else will be willing to be a lifelong learner. That is the need of the hour.
Swamiji, can I take your permission?
Excellent. Very good session. I think we have touched up all the different views and different opinions and different sectors in the education domain. And Krish, I think it's your turn to wrap up today's session.
Oh, wonderful, awesome, wonderful, fantastic, fabulous. And I must mention this, Dr. Shantha Maria James, that I'm always a follower of one of those greatest speakers, the first IPS lady officer, Dr. Kiran Bedi, and now is the Lieutenant Governor of Pondicherry. I keep watching all her talks, and somehow I get the same feeling that I'm listening to Dr. Kiran Bedi when I listen to you for the last 1 hour and maybe 10 minutes. So kudos to you, Dr. Shantha Maria James, that this talk has been a wonderful talk which has benefited many of us in terms of highlighting and enlightening us. And I'm sure we are all living with a broadened and widened brain for the rest of our lives. Thank you so very much. And over to you, Shantha Maria, that you have something more to say.
One last message for the teachers, I would say, never give up, don't give up. We learn by teaching, and we grow by sharing. Please share whatever you have with others. Allow others to grow.
Yes, knowledge is.
Thank you so much for this wonderful session. Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you, Krish, and thank you, viewers. It was a great pleasure for me to be with you all, and have a wonderful future in education.
Now you have become a moderator. Let me take my job of moderating the show, and thanks a lot to all those viewers who have been with us for the last 75 minutes, and thanks to Swamiji for his presence and blessings to all of us, and of course, the speaker of the day is no one other than Dr. Shantha Maria James, and wish you all success in the future, whatever you pick up in your life. And this is Professor Medal Krish signing off from Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, Ettimade. So till we meet again, good day. Jai Hind.
Bye-bye.
Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you.